Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Lawson's Car Reviews, and I have for you today a 2018 Chevy Camaro LT V6. So it has the V6 engine in it, which has 235 horsepower. But this car is sharp. It has the RS package, so it gets the big 20-inch wheels. So let's take a look, compare it to the other Camaros that I've driven, and then once I've done that, I have a V8 Camaro for you, but you gotta wait on that one. What's good, YouTube? This hood is really light. Giddy up! If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted of any new uploads that I do, and hit the like because it helps the channel to grow. On with the video. So starting off at the front of the car, typical Camaro at the front. It's got these beautiful new LED headlights, running lamps, but you do get the RS badge right there. And on the front of this, you get this large splitter looking piece and the RS badge and these chrome pieces right here. So it gives the car a really sharp look. The car does have remote start. It does not have the active exhaust, but you'll see if I start the car, you'll see the LED headlights turn on, and they are very nice looking. And moving around, looking at the hood, you can see that the hood actually has these lines that go up, gives the car a very aggressive look. And this particular model does have a piece on there to protect the hood from paint chips and the front bumper, so someone did that aftermarket. Moving around the side of the car, it being the RS model, you do get the 20-inch rims. So these wheels are some of my favorite Chevy wheels of all time. It's personal opinion. And if you look, 20-inch wheels, and they are, let me find the size, they are 245s, 40, 20. So they have a small 40mm sidewall, which gives the wheels a really sharp look. You get the typical Camaro badge, the red, white, and blue, which is sharp. And this particular car does come with blind spot monitoring, which all of them do not come with that. And as you move around the side, you get that low sloping roof line and these tiny Camaro windows, which if you've ever driven a Camaro, you'll realize that the blind spots in this car are ridiculously large, so it is kind of hard to see out of it. So if I was going to get one of these, I would most definitely get the blind spot detectors. The rear tail lights are very sharp looking. On the new 2020s, you actually get round tail lights, but on this model, you still get this style, which this is my favorite. I prefer it to the round tail lights. If we take a look at the trunk, you have a very nicely, tastefully done mat that goes in the back of this. It's rubber, so it's not going to tear anything up, and it's got the Camaro sign there. Looks really good. By the way, the trunk is small, so if you're thinking about going on any kind of long trip, I would not really do that in this car because you're just not going to fit very much stuff in it. Then moving on to the passenger side, you get this little plate here on the door seal, which I like that. Mustangs come with that too. And you get the really sharp looking leather seats in this car. It's very nice looking on the inside. Let me take you to the driver's side before we take this thing for a spin. So driver's side of the car. This particular model has some good features on it. So comes with 3 driving modes. Let me go ahead and start the car up. Look at that, that's pretty cool. The MyLink. The car has the MyLink stereo system. It's very sharp, it's very easy to use, super responsive. And the screen is a very high quality, I must say. These are the dials for the air conditioning, so you can turn it down or turn it to heat, and you can see it actually has the temperature in that, on that little indicator right there. So that is very sharp. The armrest is tiny, and if you're gonna drive and hold on to the gear shifter, which I have a habit of doing, your arm kind of sits in the cup rests. So these cup rests are kind of, they're okay as long as you're gonna hold the steering wheel with 2 hands. But if you wanna have one hand on the steering wheel and one hand here, then you totally are just resting your arm there. So it's not very comfortable, it's tiny. This is also very, very small, but you do get the Bose stereo system in this particular car, if you can see that. And the materials on the door are soft touch leather. This is the only hard piece of plastic. This is a nice material too. Now the door seal is kind of high, so it's hard to put your elbow on the door. It would be very uncomfortable. The gauges, however, you get this digital gauge, and you also get the heads-up display, which you can see there. And this has a plethora of information that you can actually flick through. Fuel economy and whatnot, trip. It's actually very cool. So I do like that feature, and I do like the analog gauges too, that go along with also having a heads-up display. So I think that that is a very nice feature in this car. It's kind of cramped in here, so if you're 2 big guys, I feel like you're going to be shoulder to shoulder in this vehicle. And another nice feature is you get some really nice features with the seats having a memory function, 2 different memory functions. One more thing to mention before I move off. The car does have a backup camera, as most modern cars do today, and it does have trajectory lines. So when you move the steering wheel, the lines turn to show you what direction you're going. And the camera, it's fairly clear, but it has a little bit of graininess to it. But it's more than good enough to do what you need it to do. So one major ding that I have to give this car is the blind spots.
Want to ring the bell? All right. Ding, ding.
I'm sure if you've watched other Camaro reviews, you'll realize the blind spots are pretty big. Look out the back mirror here. The view is like this big. So you have really no visibility out the back, so you have to use the backup camera. And then the blind spots on the side with the windows and everything being so short, it's really bad. So other than that, I like the car. It drives well. It has good power for a V6. Look in the description box to see the overall statistics for the car. And it has a good steering feel. So let's take this car for a drive and see how she does. As I said on my review of the convertible Camaro, the steering wheel is great. It's a good size, has good 10 and 2 notches, and it's flat bottom, which a lot of cars don't have that. This is cheap plastic, and I feel like on an RS or on an SS model, it should actually have a red RS or red SS badge right there. Maybe that's me being nitpicky, but I feel like that way it would cover up some of that cheap plastic that they've got there. Other than that, the steering wheel is awesome. The gauges on this car are incredibly clear, so there'll be no mistaking what you're doing or how fast you're going. Okay, let's set off, slow roll, and right away, let's get on the throttle. Woo! There you go. You do get a little pop from the exhaust when it changes gear, when you're going full throttle. And even though this car is the V6, and even though it does not have the active exhaust, it still sounds fairly good. But as I said, if you're gonna buy one of these, especially if you're gonna get it in the V6, make sure that you option in the active exhaust, because it sounds really, really good. I've heard it a few times. I've actually had a couple of track days in a V6 model with the active exhaust, and it makes a really big difference to the overall driving experience. This car's 0 to 60 is somewhere, I think, between 5.1 and 5.3 seconds. So it's not a slow car by any means. And I like to drive the V6 models before I just jump in and drive the V8s. You've always got to drive the smaller engine cars first so that you can judge them by their own merits, because technically every car is going to feel slow compared to the V8. Also, the brakes on this car are very sharp. I don't feel like I'm lacking in braking power at all, even though this does not have the Brembo brakes. It still brakes in a very impressive fashion. So if I test the brakes right now and hit them from 47 miles an hour, stops easily and without any drama. So let's get this car on the highway, get it up to speed, and see how it does. Also, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the heads-up display is really, really, really clear. It's got a great resolution to it. All right, turning onto the highway. Let's get on it a little bit. Foot flat to the floor. Picking up speed good. Woo! I like it. I will say this. The car does not have that much torque down low, but as soon as you start getting in the upper RPMs, then it starts pulling really nicely. Okay, listen to the exhaust again. 70 miles an hour pull. Yeah, not too bad at all. It's not very loud, but it has a nice exhaust note to it. This touch I want to mention is it does have this frameless mirror, which is a nice touch. It does look very classy in this car. And it also has OnStar, which you would expect from any Chevy product nowadays. Anyway guys, the driving experience in this car is very good. Chevy has come a long way with their interiors, and a long way just in general with how the cars feel. So it is definitely a good driving car. I would think about getting one depending on how the SS makes me feel, which will be coming up soon. Better believe it. So as I said before, don't forget to comment, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.